Hello everyone, just a quick disclaimer. Yes, this video will be mega long, and just because I had this experience, it doesn't mean that this will be your experience as well. I mean, no hate towards anyone at all, I just went through something very weird and I want to share that with you. Finally, I invite you to watch the whole video because it will make a lot more sense, but I will divide this video into sections in case you want to skip a section. So I have been boosting quite a lot actually. I have been in Nova Community doing a lot of boosts because I have guildies who've been doing that and I'm in dire need of gold. I mean, I really need gold. Whether that is to like buy my sub or actually just be able to maintain my character. I'm actually having a lot of fun playing and yeah, I think I want to maintain my sub instead of just being on the bench raid leading for my guild. That's why I'm boosting, essentially. Also, it's kind of fun. But yeah, I've been boosting a lot. I have done a lot of keys in Nova Community, and honestly, I was pretty scared at first, thinking I will deplete them because there's all these punishments if you deplete them. And I'm thinking, hey, we're gonna be boosting anything from 11 to 20, and we're only 4 people. So this might be tight and we might deplete, so what happens if you deplete? And I was a bit scared for that. I can honestly tell you I don't even know the number, I know it's more than 30 keys, but I have boosted all of those keys in those numbers between 11s and 20s, and never have I even come close to a deplete. I've always +2, or in rare scenarios where the key is harder to time and it's a higher level, it will be a +1. So yeah, I mean, it was never mega tight. Obviously, you can already infer that this story is going to be about the deplete, but I just wanted to say that. I also want to say that I don't think I'm a good player by any means. I have 2.8k rating. So yeah, I don't think I'm amazing. Like, I make a lot of mistakes, and I think I'm gonna put some clips of like me boosting some like sections, and I'm sure you will see mistakes there, whether it's mistakes related to the dungeon or mistakes related to me playing my class. Here's the thing, if you are a watcher of my stream, you know every time I stream, I'm like kind of finding new stuff. So I'm not a pro by any means, but I'm a great believer that it's important to make mistakes so you can learn from them. And when you go watch those Race to World First players, they all are very good because they are very good at identifying their mistakes and fixing them. That's what makes them extremely good. So there's no bullshit. It's like, okay, I made a mistake, I understand, I fix. That's simple. And later in the story, I'm going to be defending myself towards the staff of a certain community. And this is not me being like, hey, I'm perfect. It's me being like, hey, I am not as guilty as you think I am, okay? So that being said, for those who don't know how boosting works, this is actually pretty simple. There's these community discords. You join them. I can name you like 3 communities. There's the Nova community, there's the Oblivion community, there's the Dawn community. So I started with Nova, and they all have some different rules, and you can join their discords and kind of see their rules, but the concept is quite simple. The buyer wants certain amount of keys, he reaches out and he buys these keys. I'm not sure how this process actually works. I think those are the advertisers that know that better than I do, but here's where I come in. The advertisers will post a key being like, hey, there's this key, we need people, basically. And then you look at the key, look at the values. If you're interested, then you sign up. Normally you say your role, whether you have a key or not, maybe your IO, maybe if you can trade loot or not, whatever. Whatever the advertiser asks, you basically post there. The advertiser will then pick those people, whoever he thinks is best, and make a group, and then you guys get into voice and boost and so on. And that's it, okay? Once you boost, yeah, you just go on to the next one, and every time at the end of the day, they basically send you the gold or something like that every other day or whatever. So it's actually it's pretty much automatic, and any question you might have, It's basically the advertiser is like your manager, if you want to think of it that way. So the advertiser picks the boosters do their thing. If something goes wrong, you immediately talk with the advertiser and let him know, and they can do the fixes. And yeah, the advertiser will like kinda invite everyone into the group. Once everyone's there, he gives you a lead, you convert it back to a party, because the 5 people, so the 4 boosters, the buyer and the advertiser, that's 6 people, that's a raid, and then he leaves, you convert to a party, and you go do your keys. And that's basically how you boost. Now, let's talk about my Nova boosts. My Nova boosts have been awesome. I have no complaints at all. I have had insane players in my keys. I'm talking jaw-dropping players, you know, that good, that they just get in there, they do everything very well. Obviously, they will make mistakes here and there, but that's fine. That's an entire key, and you're prone to make mistakes, small mistakes here and there. But yeah, they do it, everything really nice, really smooth, and no one dies ever, and you just blast the key. And I'm like, dude, I didn't even feel the need for a healer in this group, because this healer was that good. Or maybe everyone was just dodging everything so well. And you don't even feel the packs, because they absolutely destroy the packs, because they have massive damage. So yeah, those are some of the players there. But I've also done with players where the buyer actually wanted to play. And that's another thing, the buyer can play, or he can be AFK at the door. But the buyer actually wants to play, and then I've had keys where the buyer actually out DPS'd the booster. It was still timed, so not really a problem, but that is a bit of a red flag if you want. I mean, if I was a DPS player, I would be like, hey, I'm a DPS player, I'm boosting, and this buyer with significantly less gear than I am, or whatever, is doing more damage than I am. That's maybe something to look at. Anyway, it was good, it is not a problem, we still timed the key. Talking about buyers will do all sorts of weird stuff, like I've had a buyer that just in Brackenhide just kept pulling more trash, and we were trying to do the boss and just trash kept coming in the last boss. So that was pretty fun. Maybe as I'm talking now, future me is editing that in so you can watch that and have a laugh. It was pretty fun. We ended up, if I'm not mistaken, with 180% or 160% of trash, and as you can see, we also timed it. So yeah, sometimes that will happen, and you can still time, and it's fine. Now, I want to talk with you about the Oblivion community, and obviously you've seen the title of this video and the thumbnail. I don't know what future me will do for that, but yes, I think that's going to be in the name. So what happened on Oblivion, and what do I want to talk about is why did I go to Oblivion, okay? I was pretty happy in Nova, and then I start feeling like, man, it's really hard to get those keys, because there's this concept called team takes, where the advertiser is grouping up people, but then one guy arrives and he types team take, and that's a pre-made group of 4 boosters that immediately yoink the key. Obviously, it just makes sense, right? You give that team the key. It's just the most safe option for the advertiser and for the buyer. It's something that makes sense, but if you're boosting alone like I was, that kinda sucks, and you're not gonna get a lot of chances, so you actually have to have some patience and keep hunting for keys. Anyway, long story short, I was talking with my guildies, and they start talking about other communities, and someone mentioned that Oblivion had better prices. So I check out Oblivion prices, and they indeed have slightly better prices. I'm not talking like, oh shit, their prices is better, I need to go there. It's not that type of thing. It's the type of thing of, hey man, I'm taking a long time to find a key on Nova, let's try Oblivion. Okay, you want values, I'll give you values. Instead of getting 20k for a key, you're getting 21k. Or maybe you're getting 20.5. It's very small difference. So It's, I don't know, it's small values, okay, very small values. No, but yeah, I went there and I was like, first impression, I am shocked. I am legit shocked. There's so many channels, way more than Nova. Everything is very unorganized, and I'm like trying to figure out how their Discord works. So, where do you start? You obviously start by reading the rules. You don't want to be breaking any rules. So, I was, you know, just streaming, and I start watching the rules together with my stream. And in my stream, I go through those rules one by one. And here's the problem with Oblivion Discord. They do not have a general rule tab. They just have rules for whatever you applied for. In my case, M+. So I'm reading that, and there's no rule at all that says I can't screen share Discord. No rule at all. And then what ends up happening is somehow an admin enters my stream, and then he starts DMing me on Discord like, hey, you can't be doing this, you cannot like stream the Discord, you can't do this. He typed me both in game, and he typed me as well by DM on Discord. And actually, let me just real quick show you that DM, that conversation I had with him, where he said, hey, I whispered you in game already, please close Oblivion Discord in your stream, thanks. I said, I already did, and he said, awesome, have fun boosting, okay? So at this point I'm like, that's weird, because there's no place in the rules that says this is against the rules. But I wanted my stream to not be bored while I browse keys, so we could kinda do it together, but I guess I can't do it. So I respected him, even though it's not on the rules. This is a little bit of a red flag. Administration doesn't know their own rules, that's a bit weird. But yeah, I was like very respectful, I already did, I said the same thing in game. Fine, it's closed. Yeah, I apologized and everything. In game I said something like, I'm sorry, I closed it. So, okay, I'm back to hunting keys. And this is where the fun begins, okay? I hope you guys are sitting down and you have some snacks and stuff. If you don't have snacks, please pause the video right now, go get your snacks, go get something nice to sip on, and just sit back, relax, and enjoy this show. This shit is about to get really nice. So, you know, just sit back and enjoy. Here comes what I was trying to do. So, I have a lot of screenshots. I was very respectful and I didn't want to share anything during stream, so I took screenshots of everything. I was legit just AFK for like 3 hours taking screenshots. Alright, so this is the deal I want to share with you. Here I come, and it's 5 keys, 17, it's on the high channels because it's a high key, and in time 2 cloths, so it's not necessarily a cloth stacking group, it's just you require 2 cloths, so yeah, different keys. This is how much they paid, and this is the cut that the advertiser gets, and this is the cut that the boosters get. Okay, so I'm like, okay, roughly 110k, I want this, this is good, let's do this. Like I said, the prices aren't anything like out of this world, it's nothing amazing, advertisers get way more than boosters, but that's just the way it is, let's not complain about that. So here it's a template that you follow, like this guy followed, he put DPS, Hunter, 441 eye level, to 2600, sorry, and the key that he has. And then more signups followed, like these ones, among mine. You will see that my name here is just Wyven instead of named like they have. For some reason I couldn't change my name, it was mega weird. I even asked for support about this, but I don't really change my name. Anyway, doesn't matter. I mean, I did say here can change on Discord for some reason. I never got support about this. I never got told how you can fix this. Anyway, not a problem, by the way. I did change my name on Nova Discord and it was fine. For some reason it wasn't working on this one. Anyway, it's pointless. Here I come, and the advertiser, this guy, Ninjutsu, he actually decides the people who go into the key, and he puts these little correct emojis, rect signs, you know, react to the message on Discord. So as you can see, he said yes to this hunter, to me, and to this guy who's a destruction warlock. And yeah, I mean, this is pretty standard sign-up stuff. But there are messages here that got deleted, and I'm sad I didn't show, because he was quite rude here. This guy, he signed up, and he said, "You there?" And he said yes, and then he said something, then he deleted, and then he replaced with "open your game and read chat please." You can call a kinda passive-aggressive vibe here, but not really. But after what he wrote before, I was like, I even mentioned to my chat being like, holy shit, I'm not one guy to care about these things, but that is not nice how he reacted. But anyway, it's whatever. There's no point in me saying it. I might even get demonetized here. So yeah, he was not nice, let's say that. And then he said, he deleted that message and replaced. This is very common actually. I noticed, I was looking at Nova and Oblivion Discord. It's quite common for the advertisers here to be slightly more on edge than Nova. Nova tends to be a bit more chill actually. People are actually people that deal with people, you know, there's a little bit of empathy. Here it was very stressful and I'm the boss, you're the bitch type of vibe, you know. But anyway, after that, here comes the rest of the chat. Another guy signs up and he keeps spamming for that healer, and an evoker healer appears. And I mean, if you guys are into keys, you can kind of see that this IO is a bit low. I actually don't have by memory the numbers that you require to boost these keys, but this number is a bit on the low side. But I mean, it's fine. He did pick this evoker healer, by the way. No other healer was applying, and yeah, I mean, this is done. And now listen, it's up to the advertiser to get everyone on a group. The advertiser couldn't get that done, so he gave me lead and he told me to do it myself. And here's like he is like spamming, not spamming, he is like tagging him and saying false name, you there, and it's like, I'm in voice, legit. He posted the voice and we're all there, all four of us, and it's like, I'm in voice. And then he says, okay, let me interview, good luck, have fun. And he's like, I'm Alliance, by the way, and he couldn't be bothered to do the Battle.net stuff, so he said, sure, thank his lead now, and yeah, I need to do it. See, there's a lot of stuff here after. We'll get back to this, okay? Where he's just spamming need a healer, and it's 1 out of 5 done. Depleted, open a ticket, everyone, I'm done. And we will look, and it ends, this zone ends with this. Open a ticket and then this thing. We'll get to that soon. So what happens on this key? Well, what happens on this key is that we go in there, we have a first pull. I am asking them, can I do a big first pull? Just like I do in all my keys, which is a 3-pack of Nelfarus. I just gotta make sure I interrupt those, like it's a caster guide that does a magma thing towards a person, and the only way you interrupt that is by stunning, CC, knocking, whatever. So I just need to make sure when I make this 3-pack pull, I only pull 1 of those, so we don't get like a lot, just so it's like kinda nice and easy. And I did that. And then someone by mistake pulls more trash. Now I've been told that I'm to fault here, that I'm too close. I don't really think that's the case. I'll show you a picture where there's people closer to it than me, so I don't know. We'll have to, I'll leave you be the judge for that. Maybe I'm in the wrong, who knows, but it escalated to something, so we did wipe on that trash, by the way, but the key was still able to be timed. Anyway, there was constant dying to swirlies, frontals, boss mechanics. It was really bad. I'm shocked that it was that bad of a run. I'm not gonna blame anyone in specific, and again, no hate towards anyone, but we're kinda there to boost, and so many mistakes were being made. And at the end of the dungeon, I actually ended up explaining to them how to do the last boss, because some of them didn't know, and I was doing the shield stuff almost alone. And you'll see something fun about that later on in this video as well. So we're likely depleting the key. And what do? Well, it's simple. I immediately notify the guy, like the ranger. That's what you needed to say to them. So I notify him and say, hey, you got us a mega weak heal and we're likely depleting this. So when I did this is when we were walking, recovering from a wipe. So I just put on auto walk, obviously, to not consume any time from the key. Yeah, I just told him like, we're likely depleting, this is not looking too good. And then notice how I didn't say anything until the key was actually depleted and I could actually say, okay, now it's over. So I tried hard until the very end, and here you can see how it's depleted and the last boss is still not even killed. I said, yep, it's depleted, I'll link you the VOD after, and he reacted with a sad smile. Yeah, we were coming back after wiping on this boss, and I said, I think they don't know the boss strats either, and I'm kind of panicking here because what do? I've never depleted the key. So let's see why I said this statement. Hello guys, this is post-edit me. I originally planned to show you the video with the sound, but unfortunately due to copyright, I'm not gonna be able to show you the sound, which makes me sad because you won't hear one of them shouting what the fuck is happening guys on Discord while they all just died to the swirlies, which is just something that was reoccurring on this key, whether it was swirlies or frontals, it was a lot of deaths. That being said, now let's get back to old me before this edit. Okay, so here you see things went really bad. Again, if there's a lot of mistakes I made here. There's a lot of mistakes. I put conk and I move out of conk. That's a mistake. Did that deplete the key? No, it didn't. It didn't deplete the key that I was out of my conk. Okay, here that swirly is there and I'm trying to get two things. So if I wanted to make this really point out my mistakes, and I want to start with that before pointing out other people's mistakes. I don't want to sound toxic while pointing out other people's mistakes. But yeah, here I'm looting these things, and because of that, I should be with the boss on the ad. I should actually just run and put the boss on the ad and stun the ad so we cleave ad with boss. It's another mistake. And yeah, here I tried to do it, but I mean, the ad was dead. So there, I've made mistakes. I'm not perfect, I make mistakes. So here we go. Now I do these two things. They didn't pick it up, by the way. Some of them didn't. Curiously enough, the buyer is the person that does the shield with me, by the way. I checked this later. Yeah, I mean, they're just getting hit by the swirlies. And they still didn't remove the shield. And the final shield gets removed and everyone's dead. And it's only me alive here at the very end. But yeah, this is fucked. Now while I just die here and while I'm running back to the boss, I go back and I tell the guy, hey, it's depleted, I'll link you the VOD after so you can see what's going on. And it's like, okay, let me find a new healer. Now, if you know the rules about Oblivion, whenever you deplete, you need to make a ticket and you need to stop your boosts. Okay? You need to go make a ticket and the guy who bought the boosts will be given a new team that can actually time stuff. So this team could not time stuff, this team cannot do this team should not do any more keys with him. But the advertiser, he wants gold. Okay? He doesn't care. It seems that way, I'm just supposing, but he doesn't really care that much. So he's like, okay, let me find a new healer. This is against the rules. We need to stop boosting right now and we need to go make a ticket. And yet he's going like, what? Let me just find a new healer. And I'm kind of stressing because healing is not the only problem. And I tell him, It's not only the healer. 1 second, let me finish this. Then I finished and I said this was overall meters. You can see how there's a lack of damage at some points. Healing is a bit weird as well. This healer could not handle the fix. And even though there's nothing like mega wrong, as soon as you look at these meters, if you were to watch the entire key, you could definitely feel like DPS was very weak at certain points, and the healer could just not deal with the healer fix. So I was kind of trying to keep them up, and he said, I'm gonna replace the healer. So he keeps insisting on replacing the healer. I'm like, but the deaths were catastrophic, because again, 26 deaths. And so what do we do now that this was depleted? And he said, again, just confirm even one more time, not once, not 2, but 3 times. Just a new healer and fresh start. And now this is against Oblivion rules. This is legit against the Oblivion rules, and you need to stop, go make a ticket, and then you'll get back, you'll get like feedback from the managers and stuff. And yeah, this buyer deserves a team that can actually give him timed keys. He pays for it, so he deserves that. We already proved we were not capable of doing that. So why do we just replace healer and go again? We can't do it. So it just makes 0 sense. And then I said, I mean, not to be a dick, but I'm doing this for a while. Well, not like for a while, like I'm doing this 10 years, you know. I've done enough keys, that's what I meant. And I don't want to be spending 4 more keys when the 2 DPS we have die on every single swirling mechanic. The hunter, poor guy, did try, but the warlock was lost. The hunter actually made so many mistakes as well, but damage-wise, he still compensate a little bit on things that warlock, mainly on boss. Where warlock did more than hunter on packs. I mean, it's different classes, different things, they do different things, so who cares. But at the end, when you look at overall, the hunter did actually try. There was a moment where we were trying to pull a boss and the hunter kept asking elf stones, and the warlock just negated him that, because the hunter could feel he was weak. He needed elf stones because the healer was not being able to keep up. He tried to communicate, the warlock didn't communicate. We had all to tell him just drop the hellstones because that's what he is asking. Meanwhile, the healer was like, go, go, go. It was a bit weird. And the hunter was like, hold, I want elf stones. And as I said this to the advertiser, so the advertiser already did something very shady, which is go for the gold instead of following the rules. Like, he is breaking rules right now. And this is very shady, and this is basically a scam. If you like wanna go, I don't wanna like just straight up call it a scam, but if a group can boost the guy and the guy got paid, he deserves to get his shit done. And now he just wants to keep going, not to the proper procedure, which is put people on tickets and give him a team that can boost. So the advertisers just want his gold fast. So yeah, just go again, get new healer, go. This makes no sense. Hello, future me again, and I forgot to mention that on top of all of this that I'm saying, the boosters will then not get their gold either because they didn't make a ticket for all these keys that we're doing. So likely the advertiser is getting all the gold, his cut, and the booster's cut, all 4 of them. And now back to what I was saying. And then when I tell him that we can't do this and we need to restructure things, he actually responds with, bro, I'm sick of DMs, everyone is good, I'm the bad guy, they say same about you, I just want to be cool. And then I said, dude, I legit been boosting in Nova all day for multiple days, and I never depleted anything and boosted 20s, and it's like, but you people like to push me patience. And this is just like me telling him, like, I'm not lost, I actually know what I'm doing, and I kinda know a little bit of what I'm talking about, and I know we can't keep going. Not only because it's against the rules, but this group could not keep going and do more keys. That's legit the only thing I'm saying here. I'm not saying I'm perfect, and I for sure made mistakes. I just gave you examples of mistakes I made. But yeah, I said, so I don't really think I'm the issue, but feel free to deduct my stuff and find another tank. Again, if he feels like I'm the issue, feel free to do that stuff and we're fine. This is whatever. And then he goes, yeah, since Nova disbanded, we have same issues, I miss old days. So right now it seems like he's kind of venting. And I said, I'll look the other way, I just CBA this shit, please find another tank and cut all my money I should have made here, even though I'm not at fault. I really didn't think I was at fault, but I don't want any drama. I'm just like, cut my stuff, I don't care, just make sure the poor buyer gets what he paid for. That's what I want. I want the buyer to get what he wants for, and I'm already feeling really bad. I wasted this buyer's time for 40 minutes for nothing, basically. And then, so weird, out of nowhere, he goes like, how do you sign up in Nova? Tank no key? And I'm like, what the fuck? What type of question is that? That is so shady. What are you trying to pull off here? And then I said, it depends, to which he replies, you can't write extra stuff, depends on what. And I said, 1 second, I'm looking at these tickets to remind him that, hello, we're still supposed to do the tickets, we're not supposed to keep running stuff, we're supposed to make tickets. And then I answered to him to be polite, well, depends on the arrangers, normally they can ask more info, and then we put more stuff. And he was saying, was trying to sort it in my way, you gotta deal with managers now, you can explain them as much as you like. I wasn't in your run, so I have no idea, maybe you are right. Okay, so now we need to take a second and see that he was actually trying to go beyond the rules, bending the rules, like, let's not make a ticket, let's just go again and give more keys to get more money and quicker money or whatever. Okay, this is mega shady. This is actually now shady. And to me, this sounds like scam. I'm sorry, but at this point in my mind, this looks like a fucking scam. He's breaking rules, he's trying to get more keys, and he just admitted that he was trying to do things his own way outside of the rules of the community. And I want to do the right thing, so I said, yeah, I'm doing the ticket. And then he said, I'm always trying to help boosters to avoid strike, but sometimes you insist, out of my hands now, sorry. And that's my conversation with him. At that point, I am very clear, okay, this guy is coming. He's like mega scammy, and I don't want to deal with this, so I'm doing the right stuff, and I'm gonna make a ticket. I'm gonna do this the right way. So I do it the right way. What's the right way, you ask? Well, you make a ticket. Here's the ticket. Order number, and that's the order number. Then the arranger, the advertiser's name, Ninjutsu. And then you explain what happens in your own words. And I say, I started by asking if we could make a big first pool, which ended not being a good idea as one of them pulled even more, one more pack. This happened in Elfaros. Unfortunately, I was the only one stunning and knocking up ads or to interrupt the magma cast. It then escalated to our warlock dying consistently and constantly to swirlies, frontals, etc. Hunter as well, but not as much. Additionally, the healer could not keep up with the healer affix and ended up resulting in even more deaths. I gave a VOD link to show the entirety of the key, and I provide additional screenshots, the screenshots that I showed you in the past. One of them being the screenshot of just a bunch of deaths. I mean, you can see here a lot of fucking deaths. I don't think I have that one anymore, but yeah, this is a lot of deaths. Yeah, they closed the case and now I can't see my ticket, by the way. They removed access because things got saucy. And I said additional screenshots of the meters attached to this post and a final note. I've been trying different boosting communities and I've done a fair amount of boosts, including 20s. Boosting a NEL 17 should be a walk on the park, but that didn't stop our ranger to be quite impolite dealing with this situation and pointing fingers. I must admit the people in the group weren't polite either. Okay, that's an issue to me, because that's against the rules. And then I mentioned I've boosted quite a lot and not a single deplete, so this was a first for me. So I'm trying to make everything according to procedure. And then I say, but I would like to make it absolutely clear, I didn't enjoy the experience at all, and though I know this deplete was not my fault, I still am making this ticket in order to give you feedback from what happened there. okay? I don't think you can put this deplete on me. Could have I played better? Yes. But is this deplete on me? No. That's what I'm trying to make very clear here, but I think that doesn't come across, as you'll see later. And then I say, quite honestly, if it helps you solve this problem, and this is me just trying to be nice and like make it so this doesn't end up in a war where we're just trading messages forever. Yeah, if it helps you solve this problem, feel free to deduct my money, strike me, ban me, whatever you want to do, but I will not take unpoliteness lightly. Hence the ticket, because I could have just said fuck this, I'm out of this community and I don't do this anymore, but I wanted to make the ticket so they know what happened, and I do not intend to boost through Oblivion again. I made this very clear. Okay, so let's see their feedback. So their feedback starts with 1. The pack you pulled got pulled because you were tanking it too close. And I said they go to the warlock who is standing behind the pack. I do this on every key including 20s. And here's a better screenshot of the positioning. Here I am, there's a pack that comes from there. I zoomed it so you could see. The warlock is mega close, the hunter as well, we're supposed to be here. Whatever, this pulls more pack, whatever. He then says, they got pulled by hunter's pet, that was the first target of them. I can see it from logs I got from the other guy. You will see this guy keeps insisting on logs, yet he never proves anything. Every statement I say, I bring it with either a VOD or a screenshot or something. But he keeps saying these logs that he never shares, he never screenshots, nothing. He never proves that's the truth, he just keeps saying all this stuff. Okay, but let's just assume it's true. It was the hunter pet. So first was the being too close, and then now it's the hunter pet. Okay, now it's my fault. Okay, sure. Okay. And then I said, yes, sadly I didn't have logs because I stream. And they said, also you pulled the first pack, used wings and instant bubble, taunted. I'm like, wait, what the fuck? What's wrong with that? Is that the reason I depleted? Is he really seriously about to point every single minor mistake? I was thinking, holy shit, man. When this time comes, he's gonna go watch my entire VOD. And when this moment comes, look, I'm outside of Conk. This is the reason we depleted, boys. Guys, this is the reason I depleted, because I was outside of this Conk. Not because these guys died on the shield and didn't loot the thing here, as you can see, not because this happens right here. Nah, this has nothing to do. It's because I was outside of my Conk. So, yeah, apparently every micro mistake I make is the reason, and I'm guilty. This is why I deplete. I used wings and then I bubble taunt. I said, yeah, what's wrong with that? AKA I just get all threat on all mobs and I have immunity so I can beacon, because I wanna group them up together, have threat on them and be immune, because if I start a cast beacon I take more damage, so I wanna be shielded by an immunity so I can then beacon. It just makes sense. And it's like having wings is like being in bubble. Not really, but yes, wings is like a defensive cooldown, but not really. Okay, this is a weird comparison. Okay, but I said, well, as you can see, I was the last one to die. I mean, so seriously, I doubt I was the issue. I'm not saying I'm perfect, because I'm not. Else I would be like 3k and beyond. But I only have 2.8k. And it's like, you flop first, didn't you? And I'm like, but that's because of they pulled extra pack. I mean, it doesn't really make sense. Just one more note. What I'm trying to explain here is that I was never the first one to die. I always died last throughout the entire dungeon. But on this specific case, yes, I did die first. But the only reason that happened is because the extra pack was pulled. And even though the extra pack was pulled, I legit rotated all my cooldowns and I used absolutely everything I could just to survive. And we almost made it, but unfortunately, as you can see here as I'm speaking, we only had one DPS really damaging them, whereas even the buyer was trying to help and he was doing almost the same damage as a booster. So basically this pack just stay alive way longer than it should have, even with the extra pull. He was still talking about first F, I mean, and then I says, how do you not see that the reason of me dying is they pulling an extra pack and that the damage here is just not okay? We are lost, we are damaging everything, and this pack is not dying because there's 1 DPS. The hunter could not do damage in packs. And they pulled the other pack, and I'm like, yeah, the reason is because the hunter pulled the pack and you tank it too close, and still a 17 you can hold for years and not die. I'm like, lol. I'm just like, lol. When packs are dying and everything, like there's the fix and everything, healer is not keeping up, everyone's dying. I'm having to heal as well, and it's like you can hold forever. This is just, I mean, this is lol. That's all I'm saying. And I'm like, should I just go do a 22 real quick, like legit do the first pull on the 22 and prove you that this can be done and I can tank it here without pulling stuff, and show you that when I pull it here, people will know how to position not to pull extra pack. Like you can't say a hunter made a mistake because of me, because I'm standing blah blah blah, and my positioning is forcing him to do an incorrect position. You can say that, and then it goes like. And keep in mind, I'm pretty tired at this point, so there might be a little bit misreading, but then it goes like, I guess I have to say it again since you probably can't read properly. And I'm like, okay, here we go with the impoliteness again. So these are the managers, you know, the guys who need to be nice and like figure shit out. No, here's just like the first guy that goes like, where is it? He goes like, bro, I'm sick of DMs, everyone's like, you're bad, and this and blah blah blah. This guy is like, you can't read properly. Amazing. Really nice. This is really nice. Anyway, let's continue. Here's the next part. And I said, as soon as he misses positions, you use the good old blame tank. And it's like he pulled the pack since it walked too close. And at this point, I'm like, considering, I guess you could argue that, but again, you keep going back to this that was from logs and it doesn't show. And in my VOD, it does show the mobs going to the warlock who body pulled. So I have video proof showing that the warlock body pulled, but it says on logs it's the hunter, and I given him that video showing it was the warlock. But he keeps saying it's the hunter and he has this on logs, but he never shares that proof. Never. And I know they were in Discord with the hunter before time, like their buddies, you know, it was friends with the ranger, and I said, look, I know the hunter is buddies with the ranger, but come on, man. Okay, let's try this instead. At this point, I'm like, fuck it, let's try a different approach. Go to the first boss, Magma Tusk, and when the boss is at 38%, and tell me that him dying to a charge was my fault again. And just so we're coherent here, I'll give you the same video evidence I gave them. Here's the warlock being in front, everyone's stuck in, and the warlock is there. The trash comes, and look how all the trash targets him. All the trash will go to him because he body pulls them. Look, right here, here's the closest one. They all looking at him, and now they start looking at me. And they, come here instead. It just shows that he was mispositioning. But now it was the hunter pet and blah blah blah. I don't know, man. Whatever. It was my fault. Okay, let's go with it was my fault. But I did talk about Magmorax, so let's look at Magmorax here. As this charge happens, he dies to the charge. Well, not really, the wave of the charge. Look, he's alive, he charges, and now he dies. It's just a wave. You can also see it in the chat. I'm really sad I didn't take screenshots of the party chat, and after this I tried to. But yeah, he does die. We have a bunch of deaths already, but everything can be time-stealed. It's still timeable. So I res him and we carry on, as you can see here. So yeah, we carry on. So I tell him that, yeah, just go to Magma Tusk, 38% to tell me him dying to charge is still my position's fault. At this point, I've realized, okay, there's no talking with these people, so this is gonna be a YouTube video. I'm legit saying this on my stream. This is gonna be content. So let's try to milk some content. And I'm gonna be semi-serious and semi-trolling in a way, I guess. I'm gonna try to get content out of this. And he's like, who's the arranger? I'm like, it's in the ticket. At this point, I'm like, dude, these guys should know who their ranger is. It's at the top of the ticket. It's legit here, right here, on the ticket. You guys do this every single day. You should have experience by now to know that the ranger appears on the ticket. Why would you ask me again? The other guy replies, Neat Jones, also check the first pack where we do chains and tell me Warlock dying to frontal was my fault again. So again, trying to dead milk a little bit of that content. And then he said, first chains you did, there were 4 mobs instead of entire corridor. Okay. So this is actually funny. I'll show you this. I'll show you these chains. Here. We did this pack that dies very fast. And what I like to do is grab a bunch of mobs here. As you can see, come to these chains, use the chains here. He dies to frontal, by the way. And we do these chains on these mobs. So we get the cooldown going. We then kind of clear this corridor. And then we do chains here again at the end with whoever didn't do the first one. This is the easiest, fastest way to do on lower keys. And then we do boss. And then the second chains I love doing is we kill these guys and then we mega pull everything here. And then we do these chains and just destroy these mobs here. And we can go up. Again, just as I'm walking, here's an example how healer is dying to stuff in the back, you know, just frontal stuff. And swirlies, and actually that was a tornado. I just lied, that was a tornado. It was low, tornado hit him, and he died. Anyway, this happened a lot. I go there, press him, we'll continue. And I'm pushing because at this point we're behind, we need to step up. Even someone else said that. So yeah, that's how I do the chains. I like to do two chains twice. And he says, first chain you did 4 mobs instead of entire corridor. And I'm like, at this point I was still typing and I said, also tell me the healer not knowing what chains were was also my fault. Healer did not do chains, by the way, guys. So yeah, this was also something interesting. He was a bit lost when we mentioned chains. And then he's like, what? Then I read this, I'm like, what? Instead of entire corridor? And then this guy says, by the way, why do you keep saying things like that? We are not going to point out other people's mistakes in your ticket. Mistakes of other people are being discussed in their tickets. I'm like, okay, I'll respect that. I'll respect that. So I then reply to the instead of entire corridor. I say, oh, I'm sorry. You're expecting me to expect that the 2.5k IO boosters we have are able to do Nawa strats of fooling the entire thing, like legit 20 mobs and quadruple chain? Holy shit, I'm like, hold on. I didn't know these people at 2.5k were as good as him. As MDI players, sure, okay, whatever. Full corridor. I'm doing 20s and beyond and people don't do full corridor there. Imagine doing that on a 17 boost run, nonetheless. Where you always play safer, just to be safe. And then he says, those mobs do literally nothing to the party, it's just you surviving, not them though. And then I said, listen, I can list all my mistakes if you want. No one is perfect. What do you think MDI players do? They watch their VODs and point all of their mistakes. And in a boost run, you will make mistakes. This is a given. If you expect boosters to do flawless when MDI players themselves say that they aren't, I don't know, man. Like MDI players have something I really like watching them is they do pull, everything goes flawless, it seems flawless, and they're like, man, I could have done this better. That's really nice. They always like, oh, I can do better. And this guy here is expecting us to do flawless MDI strats and shit. I don't know. This is at this point is fiesta. Anyway, let's carry on. This is really funny. And I said, what should we be discussing is the key breakers. The reason things got depleted, not the small mistakes people were making. Not my rotation mistakes, not the Warlock or rotation mistakes or whatever, like things that actually got us depleted. And I said, I mean, even in last boss, you can see how I picked 2 stuff to use, because I was legit saying I don't trust them, and they all die to swirlies, and I'm the only one standing alive, aka this part that I showed you before. So he says, well, it's your mechanic to play. Anyway, it's Tank's work. I read this and I'm like, wait, hold on a second. It's my mechanic to play anyway? Is this Tank's work? I said, just to be clear, yeah, guys, just to be clear, I asked him, you mean in the last boss of Nelfaris, I, the tank, am supposed to do the shield alone, aka loot all 5 things and do the shield alone? He says, yeah. At this point, I can't hold it anymore. I'm just lol, mega lol, okay? Just mega lol. These are the managers who are looking at people's mistakes and giving punishments in the Oblivion community. They have zero knowledge of the game if they legit think this is true. I said lol, why? Because I think he was like kinda joking and kinda playfully joking, you know, just being sarcastic. And then he says this after. What do you think who should do it? And I said, oh wait, you're serious? Fuck me, man, sorry. I actually apologize. Like, I'm sorry. I actually thought you were using sarcasm. Because my lol might seem toxic. I was just like, sorry, man. I thought you were just using sarcasm to joke a little bit. Because things are tense here, you know? And it says, tank is of course prio. I'm like, I then explained to him the mechanic. And I said, each person takes 1 item. I said looks, I meant loots. 1 item, I meant a T instead of a K. Loots 1 item, and we all use the item on the shield, and shield gets instantly broken. The boss shouldn't be in shield phase for more than 2-5 seconds in a good group. And it's like, is the weapon pickup fixed or not? Can you still pick up 2 weapons? At this point, I'm like, man, these guys are clueless. I mean, I can't believe I'm having this conversation. This is the guys who are evaluating whether people should get punishments or not, whether people did mistakes or not. They don't even know the dungeon. I said, you can pick multiple. Not sure how many you can, because normally in boost runs I just pick 2, because if we have a buyer, so basically I pick the buyer's thing, essentially, so normally I pick 2, and then, but yeah, in high keys, each player picks 1, so tank is not like moving the boss around the entire room and looting everything on his own, and that just basically makes DPS loss. And even if I were to loot everything, I still have to do 5 special ability buttons, and we're in that phase for long. We want that phase to be mega over, like instantly. So everyone loots, everyone uses, it's over, 1-2 seconds, done. And he said, you can pre-take them. I said, watch my VOD, you'll notice that I did, 1 second. And at this moment I'm making this clip. And he said, this guy, Dominic, he realizes that this guy is he's looking like a clown at the moment. So he is like, let's deviate from there. So he's trying to change the subject, and he's like, the key was already depleted on last boss anyway, so what happened there is irrelevant. Forget that. Forget that 4 people just died like this, you know. 3 people just died like this. Forget I didn't loot the thing. Forget all of this, man. That doesn't matter. It was already depleted. As if that's not an indicator that they also fucked up other stuff throughout the entire dungeon. And then it says, also this group was a group deplete. It was not only 1 person fucking up the entire key. And now, finally, this guy says something I agree. So I said, I'm sorry, I have OCD, so just so I feel like the last boss topic is closed, I got this clip showing how I looted multiple, used both, and they all died to swirlies. And I linked to them the shield phase. And then, which the dying to swirlies was a very reoccurring thing throughout the entire dungeon. So again, this clip is just proof of an indicator that they also died to swirlies frontals throughout the entire dungeon, which made this a deplete. making me the guy who dies the least, making me the guy believe at least. Did I fuck up? Yes. Am I the reason it was depleted? No. I don't think I'm the reason. I think if there's anyone to blame, I'm the one with the least blame. I still have some blame. I'm the one with the least blame though. Anyway, at this point I'm a bit just like squeezing content, but so yeah, let's keep going. So I then tell him about the group deplete and not just one person fucking up the entire key. I tell him like, finally, we agree on something. What I'm pleading here is that between all of us, I was the one bearing the least guilt, and how the arranger, and again, this is why I made the ticket in the first place, the way that the arranger dealt with this situation was not the best way, as well as the other players, so aka breaking rules. And then he's like, what did the arranger do? I mean, I already told him, but sure, let's go again. And by the way, guys, let me deviate here from the topic just for a second. I kind of want to show you, I have this picture here that just shows damage in case you're kind of curious. This just goes to show what happened on the first pull. The first pull we lost, we start nuking the bosses, and you can see how there's clearly a massive gap. The hunter is doing less than me. There's this gap here, the warlock starts pumping, that's great. And then people start dying, everyone dies here. And it just blames me, but sure, everyone dies here. And then again, you can see the warlock does pump, but then here he just dies. I believe here was, I don't know, it was mega downtime, which made him look bad overall. I don't know, it's weird, it was weird. At the beginning I looked and I thought the hunter was trying and the warlock was to blame a little bit when it came to DPS. But when you look at the graph, warlock was actually carrying the hunter, who was friends with the advertiser. You can see a lot of people dying, all the time, and just me kind of trying to stay alive. There's another wipe here, which was the boss, at the boss I believe, and this is when we actually get to later on. I don't know. This is a very visual indicator of everything that was going on. Anyway, back to what did the ranger do? I said, well, I was seeking guidance on how to deal with the deplete because this was my very first deplete ever, and I was met with this attitude which wasn't really nice. And here I posted a screenshot. I don't know if you guys can read. Can I zoom this? Yeah, it's not gonna have quality, but I'll read it for you. I showed you this earlier. This was me saying, but Devs is catastrophic, so what do I do now that the key is depleted? And he said, just new healer and fresh start. And then he goes, bro, I'm sick of DMs, like everyone is good, I'm the bad guy, and blah blah blah. So yeah, this is a very bad attitude, and also him breaking the rules. And what does this manager do? He says, well, if other people tell him the same things as you do, in his position, everyone blames the other people. At this point, I'm like, I can't believe I'm having this conversation. Let me show him an actual correct example of how you should deal with this. And I start in quotes. Hello there, I understand your frustration. No one likes depletes. The best way to deal with this is to be civil and open a ticket so we can figure out what happened. If you don't know how to, I can help you. And then I put a line under to make this very clear. That message on quotes is what I personally would have said in these advertisers' shoes. That's how you deal with this. Everyone's gonna DM you shit. Is it gonna be true? Yes, no, who knows? You don't know. You can't be going around being rude and pointing fingers. Just be like, hey, I understand your frustration, depletes suck, just make a ticket and let's figure this shit out. If you don't know how to make a ticket, I'll help you. That's it. This is what an advertiser should do according to rules as well, and according to ethics as well. It just makes sense. But yeah, he was pretty rude instead. So let's see what these guys think of this now. I'm very curious. And he says, he just expected you to open the ticket already. It's nothing new when you deplete that you have to open a ticket, or at least DM him, we depleted, find a new team. Okay. I think we're making progress, guys. We're finally making progress, maybe, not really, but yeah. He expected you to open a ticket. No, he didn't. He was trying against the rules. Again, as shown, I was trying to help boosters avoid stuck here. I was trying to sort it in my way. You gotta deal with managers now. And gonna replace healer, and they kept pushing for another key. I said, well, like I mentioned before, I've never depleted the key in all the boosts I've done, so this was new territory for me. So I wanted to do this the correct way, as correctly as possible. So I notified my arranger first thing, and then as per the rules demand. Okay, notify them, make a ticket. That's what I'm doing. I also didn't go straight into a ticket because, as you can see here, he was giving very clear different instructions. And we had a buyer in party that we didn't really know what to do with him now. This guy, the advertiser, he was giving us instructions of not making a ticket and just get a new healer and go next key. That's the instructions he was giving, and that's breaking rules. So I have shown him now proof of that. Let's see how this guy reacts. Finally, I think we're making progress. And then I also tell him he expected you to open a ticket already. Again, I'll show him. So no, he didn't expect it, since he instructed something completely different, as can be shown here. Also, him showing an interest on how I apply to other keys in Nova was completely weird. It was mega weird. It had nothing to do with what we just did. At this point, the focus should be on the tickets and on the deplete, and he just wants to break rules and suddenly is asking me how to apply, Nova. It just makes zero sense. So I give them that feedback. And how do I get feedback from them from this? He says, the thing is, even when he says new healer etc. after depleted, and you don't open ticket, you simply will get punished. The advertiser is not really supposed to tell you to open a ticket. The rooms are there, so read them. He means the rules, basically. Okay, but the advertiser is pushing me to do another key. Making a ticket, it's something that took me almost like an hour. Gather all the information, all the data, join a new Discord, and make the thing happen. That takes time. The advertiser wants me to go into another key. This cannot happen. The buyer is waiting, 1 hour for me to do a key, to do a ticket, and then I go? It just doesn't make sense. And I will get punished if I followed the advertiser, as you can see. So the advertiser is just breaking rules, making no sense at all. This is just so weird. Anyway, go read the rules, he says. I said, I think I made it very clear I would make a ticket, and I did. Even when the advertiser was pushing for more keys, I still made that ticket, okay guys? And here's another thing I said. I think that is very incorrect towards what the rules say. Him pushing more keys. This is very incorrect. This is against rules. You deplete, you open a ticket, and you don't go around and do the remainder of the keys with the buyer after you fail. This is a given. In any community, you don't even need to read rules. This is just a given. That's just dumb, and it will be a bad experience for the boosters and especially for the buyer, who is essentially getting scammed now because the group can't do the key and we keep pushing more keys. It just makes no sense. And how does he answer to this? He answers with, well, if he's paying for in time and his group is unable to provide that for him, for a time key, then of course. Anyway, everyone will be deducted 30k. Okay, then you just give me a reason. We shouldn't be doing more keys. We need to make a ticket and get... So, yeah, you just confirm that this advertiser is making mistakes and is scamming. Guys, this guy is scamming. Legit scamming. That's what this guy indirectly just said. According to the rules, this can't be done. But he's not gonna get punishment. Anyway, 30k will be detected, whatever. Okay, let's keep going. And now, this is the fun stuff. And I said, that's fine. Like I said, I do not intend to continue to boost with Oblivion Community. And he says, well, have fun and say hi to Izagora if he's still in power. And if you think we are worse because you boosted key with Nova people, then feel free. At this point, I'm mega confused. Say hi to Izagora. This is so out of context. Who is Izagora? I'm guessing the guy, the owner of Nova. But how would I know them? I'm just a booster. I'm just there like doing keys on my off time. Like, what? This guy is smoking something special, man. I can tell you that much. I said, yeah, I don't really know any Izagora sadly, but okay. It's like, no, if you like being scammed, feel free. I said, I think the management was very unpolite. When he said, if you think we are worse, I just said, I think the management was very unpolite. And then if you feel you're being scammed, I said, I was never scammed in Nova, but today I almost witnessed a scam on Oblivion, together with very negative support. And all I wanted to do was the right thing, but I was thrown so many obstacles every step of the way. And then he's like, I am sorry that Nova doesn't have the standards and just won't punish depleted keys. So okay, right now, I'm sorry to say this, but we're dealing with the kid. You know, when the kid gets trapped and he cannot argue and get a reason, he deflects and starts insulting, like, no, you're ugly, no, you are, who says he's who he is, and blah, 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 you know, it's like a little kid right now. Oh, I can't argue, so, fuck Nova, yeah, Nova is the bad guys, they shit, they scam, and feel free to keep scam, and blah, blah, blah. He lost all reason. I proved him that their advertising is making shit, I proved them that they don't know their own rules, and I proved them that he has no knowledge of the dungeon. And he is trapped, he has nothing else to say, so what does he say? Nova sucks and they, they scam people, and I'm sorry that Nova doesn't have the standards that we have, And I said, and I saw really shady stuff with our advertiser, and then he's like, he's just mad that Nova people deplete every other key like every advertiser. And again, he's just being a kid saying, oh, everyone fucks the keys, yet I done 30 keys and beyond 30 keys, never depleted. And this drama that you're seeing here was legit my first key with Oblivion. My first key. And on Nova, I've done so many keys, never depleted. But yeah, apparently we deplete every other key, and the advertisers are also shitting Nova according to this guy. So yeah, whatever. And then I'm like, to this, I'm sorry that Nova doesn't have our standards. I said, how can you make this statement without evidence? Because all he has been giving me all night is zero evidence. Even when he said the thing about the hunter on logs with a pet, it was clearly on the warlock, and it says it was the pet of the hunter, and it was me. Like, he says statement after statement provides zero evidence. I've provided evidence for everything I said, and he provides zero evidence. And then I said, I know for a fact that they do have standards and they do punish people who failed keys. I've never been punished myself because I've never depleted, but I know they do it because there's multiple channels about it, and you see basically every day people getting striked. How does he react to this? He said, well, after Nova scammed everyone for the third or fourth time, it was visible. Again, I've lost all reason, I'm a little kid, so I'm gonna keep insulting others and deflecting the attention from our shady shit, and let's now call up Nova on shady shit. And I said, yet somehow I've always gotten my gold. And he said, once you'll get burned, you didn't have balance probably. And I said, I don't think you can make things just black and white. Maybe they did scam, maybe they didn't. I don't know. The question is, have they scammed me? No, they haven't. So I am happy boosting with them. As for Oblivion, I was happy to be here as well, but our advertisers were rude, the managers don't know how certain stuff work on dungeons, and yet they're in charge of evaluating mistakes and applying punishments, and the administration seems to absolutely not know any of their rules. On their own Discord servers, yes, I read all of them quite extensively, and in the end, when it all becomes about giving a good experience to the customer, we try to be shady and push more keys instead of following the rules and open tickets and give the customer a group that can actually do those on time. That to me sounds more of a scam than anything I've ever encountered in Nova. And then he says, we don't play the game and we don't know what dungeons do. That's weird. And I said, well, based on our earlier conversation about the last boss on Alfarus, clearly you don't know how it works. Okay, I just want to take now this moment to point out at so many topics that were developing here. The first one was how everyone was rude. The second one was how the admin of the Discord didn't know his own rules and said I couldn't stream Discord, yet that is not on the rules. The second one is how the advertiser was shady and kept wanting to do more keys and scam the gold of the buyer instead of giving him a group that could do the stuff. And he was also being shady with not letting us do the tickets and going for more keys. And finally, this guy, the guys that apply the punishments, not knowing how the boss works and me having to explain it to them. So right now we have all of those situations, and this is an accumulation of really scary stuff right now. This is a lot, okay? This is not like, oh, I had an issue with them. This is a lot of issues in one solo night. Is this the end? Sadly, no. There's more stuff. He said, how is swapping team a scam also? And then I answered to him. Earlier today, one of you said I clearly didn't know how to read. And yet, here you are, not being able to comprehend what I wrote. I said that the advertiser, instead of giving the buyer a new team, he was trying to force us to keep going with a new healer instead. Until I basically had to stop, tell him to stop, and be like, hey, we need to make a ticket, and give him a new team. We need to give the buyer a new team, and all of us go do a ticket. Also, that thing where you said I couldn't read, and yet another example how Oblivion's administration is indeed impolite and rude. So just another and another and another. It just keeps accumulating more and more examples of how rude and incompetent they are. They absolutely, like, they don't know their own rules. It's so messy. I honestly don't understand this. And then he is like, well, don't be surprised because you can't defend yourself with you stood in the right place. And again, here I am pointing out problems that they should fix. And what does he do? Oh, I'm gonna send it back to you. Joke's on you. You can't defend yourself because you stood in the wrong place, blah, blah, blah. He told you what pulled it, yet he never presented any proof of it. And yeah, player should position properly. And I said, okay, we're back to ignoring the fact that the advertiser was trying to keep on dungeons running and scam the buyer. Like, are we really, for the third time, ignoring the fact that the advertiser was pushing dungeons instead of doing tickets and giving him a new group? Okay, let's go back to the hunter pet pool topic. This is me being mega sarcastic. And it's like, meanwhile, you tank in the spot where patrols go, blah, blah, blah. And then he's like, how is this coming a buyer? And then his friend was like, dude, this guy is being a clown right now. So I'm just gonna try to change the topic. And he's like, people like you are not needed anyways. You got zero clue how to play your class. And then he says, he gets hit, runs and got done and get refund, stop being delusional, honestly. And I'm like, geez. And I thought the advertiser was the only one being impolite. Turns out you guys got an entire army of rude people. So, yeah, guys, if anyone's gotten to this point, this is as climatic as it gets. This is the climax of the conversation. Everything's out there, okay? I'm not making anything up. I am a fact type of guy. I will show you one last picture, and this is the only one I'm not proud, okay? This is where you can clearly see I'm a human being, and I lost my cool, okay? This is where if anything, I made a mistake in the way I act, and maybe I shouldn't really have done this, but I don't know, like, I did it, I'll stick with it, I'll take the blame for it, whatever. But this last picture I'm about to show you is something I did. I will not tell you I did not do this, because I did do this. So, as I said, geez, you got an entire army of rude people. And he said, I guess I'll tell you that you did a good job completing a run. After I've seen your performance, I won't take you into consideration for another key if I was an advertiser. Again, me covering this guy being a scam is not a problem. You make mistake, blah, blah, blah. You made small mistake, you don't stand in your conch. Forget the guys dying on the swirlies, you do a small mistake, then you're the guilty, whatever. So here we go. You're boosting, you're supposed to perform. All I heard from your stream was, I got unlucky on group. I guess I have to pull small with these people, and that's not rude as well. This healer is really bad. Okay, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I did say this. Okay, I did say this indeed. I said, I pulled this, and as I pull, I feel like we don't have damage, and I'm like thinking myself, like, if you watch my stream, I do this a lot. I'm thinking out loud. I do this a lot. So I'm just like, I guess maybe I have to do small small pools with these people. Maybe I don't have as much damage. Maybe I can't triple, quadruple pull here. Maybe I need to go a bit easier. Let's make this safe. I wanna time this shit. So yes, maybe I have to go small pool. I guess you can view it as in a toxic way, like haha, you don't have damage. That's not the way it was intended. But yeah, I did say that. I got unlucky on the group. I'm not sure if I said that, but I do feel it that way. I got unlucky. I started this video by saying I've gotten massive boosters, like massive, absolute gamers in my keys while boosting. And this group, yeah, it was unlucky. If I didn't say it on stream, I say it now. I got unlucky on the group, that's for sure. And then this healer is really bad. Yeah, a healer that cannot keep up people with 3 stacks of the affix. I mean, there's 0 mobs, we just have the stacks and people are dying. He can't keep up. He had low IO, his mana disappeared in 10 seconds, he couldn't keep up, and he was dying on every single swirly. Our hunter, if you don't go by me only, our hunter, their friend by the way, the guy who's friend with advertiser, kept demanding elf stones because he felt the healer was bad. Like, I never created bad vibe, I just talk with the stream and I'm kind of thinking out loud. I said, my job is to give the buyer his key completed as he paid for. What I say to my stream is none of their business and it doesn't affect them. Plus, I was never rude with my boosting teammates on voice nor written, so I didn't type to them to be rude with them, they did that to me. I wasn't toxic to them on voice, they were toxic on voice, which is also against the rules. And I said I was very chill and civil with everyone, both the advertiser and both of you here as well, all night, and you've been quite aggressive. And then he said, I am calm, I'm not even barking. And then, I don't know, at this moment I'm like, fuck it, let's squeeze content. And I said, I would hope not, since humans don't usually bark. And as I said this, they closed the ticket, and obviously I took screenshots of everything, but then I lose access to these, so if I want to show you on Discord, I can't. But this is how it's concluded. Alright, so if you made it to this point of the video, holy shit, you guys are fucking legends. Thanks for sticking around. I'm not gonna do the sub click like, I'm not doing that shit on this video. I hope you had fun at least watching all of this unravel. That is way more rewarding than that. But yeah, I really hope you had fun watching this. And again, just because this happened to me doesn't mean it will happen to you. I don't mean any hate towards any one of them. I'm sure they can make it work, else the community wouldn't exist, basically. So yeah, I mean, that's my take. TLDR on what happened. So let's say you're a person that doesn't wanna see the entire video because it's mega long and you just wanna go down to the chase. Throughout this entire video, if you're curious, you can go back and watch all the proof I show for the following claims. And the following claims of the Oblivion community is they have a very poor Discord organization. It's very messy. They have a very bad communication. They are quite aggressive and rude, and they will often insult people while applying to keys and then delete the message right after. Hence why the administration didn't want me to stream that on Twitch, which by the way is not against the rules because I read all the rules, but apparently the admins of Oblivion community don't know their own rules they have. Speaking of not knowing your own rules, the advertiser also doesn't know the rules because the advertiser, once we depleted the key, instead of giving the buyer a new group so that he could get his keys done, the advertiser wanted his money quick, so he kept pushing more keys even though we depleted, so he could get his gold. AKA, he's scamming the guy, he's breaking rules, and he's basically fucking us up later because we will all get sanctioned. AKA, we all lose the money, he doesn't lose his money, he will potentially even get the money we were supposed to get, so he'll get the entirety of the money, and that's probably why he did all of this. So he could get the entirety of the money, just fucking yoink everything. That's just a supposing. I do not have proof for this claim, but every other proof where I said that he broke the rules and he was being shady, I do show proof for that in the video. I also show proof of him asking how I do things in Nova and stuff, really out of context, when I just gave him the information. We depleted the key, what do I do now? And he's suddenly asking what I do in Nova and blah blah blah. He's being very shady in that front. When making a ticket, these guys were not helpful at all. They were very rude. I pointed them out how, like all the reasons why we depleted the key. Well, not all of them. I pointed out multiple reasons we depleted the key, and they chose to ignore that. I made sure to show proof of those reasons with either video evidence, screenshots or whatever, always visual evidence, and I backed up every statement that I did with proof. Upon doing that, they countered that with, hey, I have logs and you're wrong. They never showed the proof, they never linked me the logs, they never put a screenshot proving that I was wrong, they just said you're wrong. I then go get video information to show them, here's clearly showing how this happened, and when they are without words because they've just been proved wrong, they're like, oh no, but you made this small micro mistake, I don't know, you don't stand in your conch, or you use wings and your bubble, that makes no sense. Instead of being like, hey man, we don't know the strats for the boss. Like our team didn't, I was the only one knowing strats for boss, and I had to explain them, and it's like, that doesn't matter, what matters is that you use wings on your bubble, and that just makes absolutely no sense. It's legit just picking points just to be annoying, you know, that's what they were doing. Upon showing them more and more about the information that I really made this ticket for, which was showing them that the advertiser was being shady and scamming the buyer, because obviously they're buddies and stuff, they're gonna cover up and they are gonna do what they did, which was insult me instead. So they start insulting, and they then proceed to insult Nova as well, and things just get out of context. It ends up with me trying to be reasonable and try to get them to understand that the whole process was very impolite. I'm actually concerned with the buyer because the poor guy was almost getting scammed. And unfortunately, they have a guy who's scamming people in their team, and they are being very rude, and also they do not have the understanding of the dungeon, because I actually had to explain to the guys evaluating the mistakes how the last boss works, because they themselves didn't know how the boss worked. And again, all of this is provided with proof throughout his entire video, and when they basically are lost for words, and they're just being proven wrong after time after time after time after time, and there's no counter thing that they can say. They just say, you're bad because you're bad, fuck you, I don't need you in this place, Nova is shit, advertisers in Nova is shit, everyone's shit, we are the best, and yeah, get the fuck out. And that's how they end the conversation with me, and it just goes to show right now what's my impression of Oblivion Community. Here's my final thoughts. 1. They're rude. 2. They are gonna try to scam you at some point. They are legit scamming. I witnessed scamming today, and that is not nice. That is not okay. Number 3. If you encounter any problem, you're not gonna get it resolved. Number 4. If you try to be reasonable and really nice to them, they're just gonna try to eat you alive and be really toxic towards you, and just, you know, gonna give you a bad time, and you're gonna get nothing done. So again, long story short, do I recommend Oblivion Community? Fuck no, man. Get out of there. Go to Nova. I'm in Nova. I've done so many keys. There's claims that they are scamming. I've never been scammed. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. Personally, I've never been scammed. You want to get a key done? Go to them. I don't know, just post a key. The advertiser appears. He's really nice. He's really polite, by the way, guys. And he's gonna treat you with a lot of respect. The boosters will then appear, and guess what? The boosters will treat you with a lot of respect and care. They will ask you what your loot preference and stuff, and we're gonna help you get what you paid for. We're gonna be very happy to do so, and you're gonna be very happy that you bought the purchase. And if you wanna become a booster, listen, do you wanna be treated with respect, or you wanna be treated like dog shit. So if the answer is number 2, you want to be treated like dog shit, then go to Oblivion. They will make sure that happens for you. But if you want to be treated like a human being with respect, I would go with Nova. What do I think about Dawn? I don't know. I haven't done stuff with them, but I will be doing stuff with them soon. Hello, this is the final time Post-Edit Me is intervening. I just want to say that since the recording of this video, I've now experienced boosting with the Dawn community, and I absolutely love it. I love their Discord and how things are organized. I love the way you sign up. The sign up system is amazing, and most importantly, I love the community and how they treat each other. There's really no bad things to say about them, apart from they don't have the same customer size pool as Nova, and their payments only happen once a week. But to me, neither of these things are bad, so I'll say, and very gladly may I add, I'm gonna keep boosting with them, with both Nova and Dawn. Now, back to the old me. Here's my final thoughts. Fuck Oblivion. These guys are absolutely never gonna get me there ever again. I'm never gonna go there ever again. Again, no hate towards anyone, just horrible experience there. They can do whatever they want. It's their own business, it's not my business. And this video had one purpose and one purpose only. I had this mega insane story that just looks like a movie. I wanted to group all the information, group all the evidence, and here's my one goal with this video. I wanted to share my experience with you. So you now decide, what boosting community would you choose? Post your answer on the comments. I'm out, see ya!